reflect. They reflect on the past year, all of the trials and tribulations, the accomplishments, the realizations. And today is also a day where people tend to set new goals in life, what they want to achieve in life. It's mentioned that usually the month of January is when the gyms are like the busiest, but then in February they're like all empty. um, and Krishna says that creation is easy and annihilation is easy, but maintenance, that's where things get a little bit difficult. So on that note of maintenance, I just want to shout out all the Srila Prabhupada disciples attending currently. I see Arjuna Prabhu, Adi Purush Prabhu, many more, I'm sure. And they're a real example of maintenance and an encouragement to keep going. So just want to first off seek their blessings. And I've been reflecting on my 2020 and the realization you can say that I had, which is I feel quite appropriate for the times. It really has to deal with this concept of inner fulfillment and going within, flowing within, and not really seeking so much of the external validations and enjoyments. In the Shastras, it's explained that the human being has two tendencies in life. One is the antarmukha pravritti path, and the other is the bahir mukha pravritti path. Does anybody know what these words mean? Antar and bahir. We sing them every day. Bahir nisingo, hridaya nisingo. Bahir basically means outside, and antar means inside. And mukha, what does mukha mean? We also sing this every day. Guru mukha padma vakya. Mukha means face or mouth. So bahir mukha basically means you're facing outside, and antarmukha means you're facing inside. And the Shastras compare this, they relate it to our consciousness. And they say that our consciousness is like a river. We even say stream of consciousness. So at all times, this river, this stream, is either going outside or it's flowing inside. Now, what happens is when this river, when this stream of consciousness flows outside, it tends to lead to a lot of comparisons, jealousy, envy, sadness, depression, fear of missing out. The list is ongoing. But you can change the course of that river. Even in geography, they say that the direction of a river can change. So if we're able to then change the direction of that river, and instead of it flowing outside and seeking external validation, if we're able to flow inside, then what happens is you get a deep sense of fulfillment. And you basically are happy with the bare necessities in life. And what it really comes down to are those five main Ungas of devotional service, uh, stated by Rupa Goswami, which is Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravan, Mathura Vasa, Srimurti Shradaya Sevan. That simply by the association of the devotees, simply by chanting the holy name, simply by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, simply residing in a holy place, and you being holy yourself, you make that place holy. And having deep prayer and worship, this is enough to make you completely satisfied in life and truly find that inner fulfillment. So on that note, hopefully for 2021, we can plug in a lot more to these essentials. And you can see that your life will feel, it will feel perfect. I was actually studying this word perfect, and perfect is made up of two syllables, per and fect. And fect comes from the Latin facere, which means to do or to make. It's where you get the word effective. It's also fect. And per actually is a Sanskrit root, uh, meaning para, which means wholly, supremely, or fully. So the word perfect, actually, the literal definition is, it means fully effective. And I've been saying this word every single day. When I sit in the sun and read my Srimad Bhagavatam, I say to myself, perfect. Like, this is perfect because I'm being fully effective. When I'm in the association of devotees, whether physically or digitally, I feel I'm being fully effective. This is perfect. And when I'm having a really nice prasadam meal, I say perfect. And the more we can um, connect with the all perfect, we will bring that perfection into our own lives. So I feel this is a good note to kind of move into 2021. And it's so nice today that we're starting chapter 21 in 2021. Nice coincidence. And I feel really excited to talk about this verse today. On that note of stream of consciousness and the river of consciousness, today we really get to talk about uh, the Ganga River. And I actually got an opportunity to do some research on the Ganga River. I think I watched some National Geographic documentary, just pulled a few facts, but just wanted to mention that and then go a lot deeper into the importance of the Ganges. So the Ganga River is actually 1,500 miles long. That's a really long river. And just to give you a perspective, I did some research. Most of you guys are in New York. New York is 300 miles long. So it's 5 times the size of all of New York. And there's about 1 billion people in India, and 400 million of those billion people are right on the outskirts of the Ganga. So there's so many people that come to the Ganga every single day to take a bath and bathe. And externally, we see that the Ganga, it has so much sewage. There's corpses, there's dead bodies, there's so much pollution going on. Not in all areas of the Ganga, but in some areas you see that. But still somehow it's holding this deep sense of purity. So how is this even possible? Millions of people go into this river every day, but they don't experience the sickness that you would. And they even, I saw they even did a test in 1896. It was the British. They were amazed. They were amazed that all these Indians, they're worshiping this river. Why are they worshiping this river? And they were hearing from the locals that, no, this river is very sacred. It's very holy. So the British were like, no way, let's see what this is about. So what they did is they took samples of cholera microbes. Cholera is a very serious disease that's often transmitted through liquids. So they took cholera microbes and then they started putting it into the samples of the Ganga River, of the Ganga water. And they were amazed because within 3 hours, all the microbes were destroyed. And they couldn't believe this. How is this possible? This is breaking all scientific norms. So this is just to show a material side to the purity that the Ganga River holds. And why is it that the Ganga River is so pure? And it's explained today in today's purport that it's because it's been touched by Krishna. It's been touched by God. And when God touches something, it's like King Midas in the Golden Touch. It has this purity that just comes from it, and it's eternal. So this is what you can say is some of the miracles of the Ganges and the Ganga. Maybe I can get a thumbs up from the people on video. How many of you guys have visited the Ganga River, the Ganges? Yes. Okay, a few thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, it's really special. It's actually really wonderful when you go to Mayapur Dam. The Ganga River is right there, flowing. And I did some digging, and I found a very another very interesting fact. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. I'm gonna see who has the answer. Can anybody tell me what was Srila Prabhupada's first book that he ever wrote? Please either put it in the chat. You can come on speaker. Anybody know? What was Srila Prabhupada's first book? Nobody knows. The Purpose of Life. That's a good title, but it wasn't that. A lot of people think his first book, yeah, Back to Godhead, that was his first magazine that he started. But first actual book, a lot of people think his first book was Easy Journey to Other Planets. But actually, in 1948, Srila Prabhupada wrote a book called Scientific Water Treatment. And it was a natural cure book. Who was the author of that book? Dr. Abhay Charamde. And what was this book about? This book was all about how you can heal yourself through the power of alternating between hot Ganges water and cold Ganges water every 3 minutes with massages. That's what the book was about. That was Srila Prabhupada's first book. And it's so interesting because in 1977, when Srila Prabhupada was so sick, he was on his you say deathbed, but his launch pad, you can say also. When he was on that sitting place and feeling so low, materially speaking, he hadn't eaten for 27 days. At that time, Srila Prabhupada ordered this treatment to happen. The hot water, cold water of the Ganga Jal, the Ganga water. And immediately he started eating. Immediately he started feeling so good that was when he decided to go to London. And that was the last place he visited before coming back to Vrindavan. So just to add to the power of the Ganga River. And I think yeah, even just kind of examining my own personal life, I've also found some miracles when it comes to this river. I was going to India from a very early age. My parents were quite spiritual, and they would take me all over, and it had these deep impressions in my mind. You know, the consciousness of a child is just like a sponge, so they really absorb those early moments. And I remember my parents taking me at age 7 to this very holy city called Haridwar. Haridwar is a place where in the Bhagavatam, Vidura spoke to Maitreya. A lot of other sages go there. And Haridwar, Hari means the supreme, and Dwar means the gates. So Haridwar literally means the gates to the supreme. It's right at the foothills of the Himalayas, and that's where the Ganga River also flows. And I remember going there and just being so amazed, because you can imagine that the sun is starting to set, and the entire city, everyone is coming out, they're playing music, they're singing, they're chanting. It's like the entire city just became a big party, a transcendental party. And they're all coming to Mother Ganga and offering prayers. And it just felt so magical. And because the Ganga River is so holy, it attracts all types of people to come and take its blessings. And at age 7, this was the first time I actually saw a leper colony. I saw people missing their eyes, their noses were melted, their hands and legs, nothing was there, and they were simply coming to the Ganga to get their blessings. And having that sight at such a young age, I remember standing at the bank of the Ganga River and just staring at my hand and asking myself these deep questions. Who am I? And where am I going? What is the meaning to life? And looking back, I truly feel it was Mother Ganga's blessings that those questions entered at that time. And I feel because of those questions, it is what started my whole spiritual journey. So adding again to just the glories of Mother Ganga. And again, Mother Ganga is wonderful. It's pure because it's been touched by Krishna. And in the Shastras, in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that there's 9 processes to devotional service. There's Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So the Ganga is pure because it's been touched by Krishna. And when we have Shravanam, Krishna is coming, at that point, Krishna is coming in contact with our ears. When we have Kirtanam, Krishna is coming in contact with our tongue. When we have Smaranam, Krishna is coming in contact with our mind. And as we move up, Vandanam, Krishna comes in contact with our heart. And as we keep going, Dasyam, you have this realization, I am Krishna's servant. And Sakyam, then you have the realization, I am Krishna's friend. And finally, Atma Nivedana, which has been exemplified by Bali Maharaj. At that point, yes, I'm Krishna's servant. Yes, I'm Krishna's friend, but simply I am Krishna's. Like, you can do whatever you like with me, Krishna. I am simply yours. And when I think of this Atma Nivedana, which Bali Maharaj, who we're reading about, has so very wonderfully exemplified, you cannot think of Atma Nivedana and also not think of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada is the definition of Atma Nivedana. When he was on that Jaladuta ship, and his prayer was, please, Lord, I'm simply a puppet in your hands, and you can make me dance however you like. That is Atma Nivedanam right there. And I think it's very important to meditate on that constantly, because that's essentially our goal, where we're trying to go. This poem that Srila Prabhupada wrote on the Jaladuta ship, it was called the Markin Bhagavad Dharma. And what I read to you, I am just a puppet, make me dance. That was the second to last stanza. His last stanza to the poem, Prabhupada says in a humble way, he says, I have no devotion, I have no knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name. And I think this is another goal that we can set for 2021, to develop strong faith in the holy name, to not be so concerned with trying to build a name in society, but being more concerned in the holy name and your inner society, and really trying to understand what it means to chant Shuddha Nam. This is something that we should all strive for, because just how Srila Prabhupada had that strong conviction, and that is how all miracles, all doors became unlocked. Same thing can happen for us, and we can really enter in a world full of magic. So the holy name is something so powerful. It can truly purify our lives. And why is the holy name so powerful? This material world that we live in currently, it's very cold, it's very harsh, it's freezing, it's not a fun place to be. It's a cold place. And our heart is like liquid. Our heart is like the Ganga River. It's meant to flow. But because this world is so cold, what happens when coldness comes in contact with liquid? Our hearts become hard like ice. And that is why you see so many problems in the world. But it is through the fire of the Maha Mantra that we can melt this hard like ice heart and flow again back to our natural state. So this is the importance of chanting the holy name with all of our attention, with all of our heart, with this mood of Atma Nivedanam, and simply realizing that Krishna, I am yours, and do as you like with me. Um, and like that, we can begin to experience the miracles to life. Rupa Goswami, he mentions that there's 64 Ungas to devotional service. In the beginning of the class, I mentioned 5. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravan, Mathura Vasa, Shrimurti Shradaya Sevan. I was reading these Ungas, and I read one of these Ungas that really stood out to me. It was Unga 44. Does anybody know what Unga 44 is? Unga 44 says that we should always anticipate Krishna's mercy. Always anticipate Krishna's mercy, no matter what. And if we have this consciousness, then the good and bad start to evaporate. You don't really see bad anymore. Just like a kid. A kid, all he wants to eat is sugar. All he wants is candy, right? He wants the Pop-Tarts, the Kit Kats, the Crunch Bars, the Snickers, the gulab jamuns. I hope I'm not getting anyone hungry here, but he just wants sugar, right? But as that child matures and he becomes an adult, he begins to appreciate all types of tastes, the pungent, the sour, the astringent. He begins to appreciate. So in the same way, sometimes as neophyte devotees, all we want is the sweet devotional experiences in life. We just want a sweet life. But as we begin to mature, we start to see that even the bad, even the ugly, this is all Krishna's blessings, and we appreciate them, just like the astringent, just like the pungent. It's the same thing. So like this, even the bad is good, and our life can become very wonderful, very magical. And when you think of Srila Prabhupada's life, you can't help but think of so many magical moments, so many incredible experiences. I was reading this one real funny experience that happened with Prabhupada. Prabhupada had to go to Africa, and to go to Africa, he had to get the yellow fever shots. And Prabhupada said, no way, Jose, I don't want to get any shots. And the disciples like, Prabhupada, if you don't get the shots, you can't go. And Prabhupada said, I don't care. I'm not getting the shots. I'm going to Africa. You make it happen. And so the devotees, the disciples are like, man, what are we gonna do? So they got together. They finally constructed a plan. They said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the registrar office and we're going to pretend that we're Srila Prabhupada. And then we're gonna get his name signed off, and then we'll be able to get that yellow fever shot for Prabhupada. So two devotees went to the office and they went to the registrar. They got the yellow fever shots, etc. Then they had to go to the clerk. And then the clerk said, okay, so what is your name again? And so the devotee said, my name is Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami. And this is like some 25-year-old bhakta saying this. And then so the clerk said, okay, Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami. And what year were you born? Um, so that devotee got totally confused because he couldn't say 1896. He didn't look like he was born 1896. So the devotee's like, what year was I born? I forgot. And the clerk's like, what do you mean you forgot? And the devotee's like, I forgot. And then the other devotee heard what was going on. So he got out off of his chair, started chanting Hare Krishna loudly, started spinning in circles and doing this ecstatic dance. And the clerk's like, what's happening right now? And then the other devotee started dancing in circles too. And he was like, this chanting, it is drained all my memory. I cannot remember my birthday. This chanting. And then the clerk's like, okay, it's okay, calm down. Here, I'm gonna leave this part blank. And when your memory comes back, just put your birthday, no problem. And they gave the yellow card to the devotees. And then they rushed to Prabhupada. They told Prabhupada the story, and Prabhupada was laughing and laughing uncontrollably. So again, these are some of the examples where there's no limits to the miracles, and we're able to just do the impossible. I remember even myself when I was going on a book distribution. My book distribution partner was a very senior Prabhupada disciple named Brigupati Prabhu. He's been distributing books for 45 years, and he's basically taught me everything I know when it comes to being a Sankirtan soldier. And I remember being in the car with him, and we'd have so many adventures and experiences together. And this one experience really stands out. We went to a university, and the place where we had to set up, we were really excited because it's a very sweet spot. There's so many sweet souls there, and we always distribute a lot of books there. But on this day, we were driving in the car, and there was a big sign that said service workers only. And they had all this like duct tape and everything. And we weren't able to go through unless we were service workers. So Brigupati turns to me and he says, service workers only. We're working right now, right? And I said, yeah, we're working. And we're doing service too? And I'm like, yeah, we're doing service. And so Brigupati's like, so we're a service worker? I'm like, yeah, I guess we're a service worker. And so he's like, let's go. And so he like puts his pedal to the metal and we floor it. We pass like all these security guards, set up the book table, and just do a lot of books that day. And again, just kind of showing that there's no limit. There's no limit when we really tap in. And when we tap in, we won't tap out. So again, I think we can learn a lot from just Prabhupada's mood. And if we can have this mood for 2021, to really become much more surrendered to the holy name, just go much deeper into the chanting process, have firm faith, firm conviction and melt that ice that's around our hearts and flow like the Ganga River, and understand that there's two ways that we can flow. We can flow externally or we can flow internally. And when we go internal, then we're really connecting with the Paramatma and we find true satisfaction in our hearts. And in that way, we can make this world shine. We can become true Sankirtan soldiers, true Sankirtan warriors, and really uplift this planet and make Krishna smile, which is the ultimate goal. So I thank you everybody for listening today. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.